But can the Knicks really pull this off? Only 13 teams in NBA history have ever come back from a 3-1 deficit.
Yeah, but we've seen history rewrite itself in this NBA postseason many a time. Like, what were some of the stats on? I think it was, what was that game where it was like 994-1 is like the Pacers' chances of winning that game, where Tyrese Halliburton made that 2 at the end of regulation. So my point being is that it's happened before, it could happen again. And now the momentum does feel like it's swung in the direction of the New York Knicks. This was a gutsy win from a New York team that a lot of us counted out. I would like to issue an apology on behalf of myself and everybody who counted out the Knicks in this situation, just because the Pacers have just been so good as underdogs here. But what a game from Jalen Brunson, stepping up in the biggest of moments, his team on the brink of elimination. And hats off to Karl Anthony Towns, who not only, draws the comedic critiques online of some of his personality quirks, but he battled through a knee injury in this one to put up 24 points and dominate the rebounding situation as well. And that's the thing. I think that the Knicks have made the correct adjustments, whether it's defensively and whether it's using some other guys who aren't just their main starters to help them win some of these games down the stretch. So now I feel like it's anybody's game. And I think for basketball fans, this is a great thing, because I'm not so sure we're going to get some great games in the NBA Finals, but we still have the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think we get at least one more great game to close this series.
Yeah, I don't want to call you out on air, but when you were talking about the Pacers yesterday, I was like, this is not Hoosier hospitality, the way you're talking about the Knicks. You might need to issue an apology today. What you should do is take a screen capture of your face, okay, close up, and then say, I apologize for my lack of Hoosier hospitality in picking the Pacers over the Knicks. Chelsa, you got to be better than that.
Well, I mean, to be clear, you were on the Pacers as well, Jenks,
also true.
So you might need to join me.
Also true. I'll issue one. In fact, let's do separate apologies, each with an apology over our respective faces. That's the best part of this whole thing. What would be a great background for my apology? Just a solid black background, maybe a screen capture on my phone. How about a picture of me with my significant other that makes the apology more difficult to read and discern? Oh, John Mellencamp. Always coming through.
Make it about yourself. Make it about yourself. Because that's something I also kind of thought to myself. It's like, nobody asked you to make it about you, John Mellencamp, but you did it.
He certainly did. He found a way. So, if you look at NBA Finals odds, before we get a break here, we'll continue talking about basketball. The Thunder are minus 750. The Pacers are 7-1. The Knicks are 15-1. I mean, I guess if you believe in the Pacers, 7-1, pretty solid value right there. But I don't know. If you believe the Knicks can rally 15-1, go for it. I don't know if anybody wants to get in front of the Thunder train right now.
Yeah, I think it's more about, I believe strongly in the Thunder as opposed to believing in these other teams. Because the difference between the Thunder and both teams coming out of the East is that the Thunder have been wildly consistent. They've had a few lapses where they haven't, had their best games, but they're just so deep and their defense is so good. And that's something that always travels and it feels very consistent is defense. And they were the number one team during the regular season at defending the points in the paint. And I think that continues throughout the NBA Finals. So it'd still be the Thunder for me, but obviously it's not a price that's very nice. What are some of the betting angles that you'll be following in this series, whether it's props, whether it's just straight spreads, money lines, totals? Is there anything that you're kind of initially looking into for this next game?
I have been trusting Indiana's perimeter defense. It's why I took them outright to beat the Cavs last round. And it's why I have always seen them as live to do a lot more than even just win the East. Their perimeter defense is not properly appreciated. Following the All-Star break, Indiana ranked number 4 in opposing three-point percentage at 34.5%, and number 3 in opposing three-point percentage rate, how often opponents shoot from deep, third lowest in the NBA at 39%. It's just tough to get those looks up. My first thing at every Indiana game these days is just to fade the opponent from deep. Jalen Brunson under 2.5 threes is immediately my best bet for tomorrow night. It's just difficult to get those looks against Indiana. Yes, he hit 4 threes last night. I have to think the Pacers defense comes out a bit more frenetic as it is at its best and limits those looks again all over again, and that makes life so much more difficult for Brunson. He has done a good job of not forcing those shots this series. He's done a good job of instead getting to the rim and getting to the line. That is where you immediately find value in the Pacers because we praise their offense so much, we overlook this defense.
Douglas, why is it that it feels like for the majority of the season, and of course this is easy to say now, that it feels like the Pacers have been so underappreciated? Is it because they're so balanced? Is it because they play in Indianapolis? Like, in your mind, why is it, are we just now coming around to how good Indiana is?
I think we have a new aspect in the NBA in that the first third of the season doesn't really matter. Teams like the Pacers and the Timberwolves struggled to start the season and really found a groove, call it about January 1st. The Timberwolves kicked into a different gear in March when Julius Randle came back healthy. We saw this same aspect from the Clippers and the Warriors. Just suddenly became real teams that deserved notice, and the Clippers went 7 with the Nuggets. The Warriors, who knows how that series would have, the Timberwolves would have gone if Steph Curry doesn't tweak that hamstring. I think we have to throw out October, November, and December when evaluating teams in the NBA postseason. And when you do that, you start to realize, hey, the Pacers were darn good the last half of the season. I'm not saying after the All-Star break only. The last half of the season really extends back into at least January. That is where I think there's an aspect of the NBA that nowadays we need to start to grasp that a lot of these teams with the new CBA, roster construction includes a lot more turnover and tweaking of what you're doing on the fly. See what they look like once they've done some of that during the season. And that has yielded 2 of our Final Four. You could argue 3 of our Final Four with the Knicks.